All right. Somebody asked, would I carve a hiker? And I said, well, I think a while back, many years ago, I carved a hiker carrying a canoe. But he said, would you carve one that carry, with a walking stick or something like that? So I went out there, and I had a little pattern I used to have. And I think this was maybe the pattern for the other hiker that I did. I'm not sure. And so I got me the little pattern, and I cut it out. It's about 1 3/8 inches wide. I think it's only about 3 inches tall. Let me get my... It's 3 inches tall by about 1 3/8 inches wide. So it's a miniature. It would be a little miniature hiker. Now, the way we have to approach this person is like this, and I cut him in a way where he's going to be stepping up on a log to go over it. And so you have to look at this like we looked at when we carved the dogs and stuff. Okay. Now, this will be the outside leg right here. This will be the outside leg here. Okay? So, we want to go about halfway, or, maybe not quite that much, and we want to remove this over here. Okay? We want to remove, this part in here. Alright? Just like this one here. This one's going to be over here, so we want to find a little bit before midway, and this will be removed in here, so the leg is over here. Okay? Now, do you understand what I'm saying? I'll show you as I carve him. Let's get our knife out. We're going to come back here, and we're just going to start taking some wood off. Because this leg is going to be forward, okay? Just want to take some of this leg off. Grain is changing right in there. Okay, we got to go further than that. And then we'll gradually begin to take some more off as we go along. Alright, see that? You don't want to go more than halfway, because as you begin to carve, you might need to spare a little room. Now the same thing in the front here. I'm going to make that cut right there. We're going to start taking off some wood right in here. Watch your hands in here. I hope everybody, I think a lot of people are getting back to work now. I don't have to go back to work. I am retired, although I worked 40 years in a chemical plant, so, and I was working way before then, but I'm just saying, I've been working since I was 16 years old, so I've gone a long time in life. Okay, we're getting about to where we want on this one too. So you see how this leg's going to be over here. It's going to be a lot thinner, but as I bring this down, I don't want to bring too much off this, okay? Because as I bring that down, I'm going to all right, there we go. See? Now let's bring this head down. This old basswood I have here is a little bit, it's a little bit dry, and it's a little bit brittle. It's not like that good basswood you get from, I mean, it's carvable, like that good basswood that you get from Heineke. I was given some basswood, somebody one time. It was good basswood. It went through the flood. And a lot of times when that wood gets wet and goes through a flood, and it's just not good anymore. It has been, you know, messed up. Doesn't have that texture anymore. A lot of my wood went through the flood. I just couldn't see myself throwing that much basswood away. A lot of it went through the flood. And wood, when it gets wet, I mean, and then it sits up for a while, especially the way it was wet for many, many days, weeks. And it just doesn't, just isn't as good as it should be. All right. Now we brought that head down. Okay. Now let's decide. Now you already know what on one side what the arm's going to do. It's going to come out. So let's follow this here, and let's just cut in there. Now on that arm, we can go ahead and do it, but we already know that that arm's gonna, about this much is gonna come off that arm. So we will cut what we'll cut is, of course, this in here. See that? That in there, we're going to cut that out for that arm. So let me go ahead and do that. Just make a little cut in here. Very slowly. Don't get in a hurry. Take that out of there. Because we got an arm on this side. Okay. So we can go ahead and cut back on this little arm right here. Because this arm's going to come out, it'll be holding a walking stick. See how on this area we have to take off some of this leg right in here? That's why I didn't want you to take more than just a little bit over here, okay? Because some of this is going to have to be taken off so that arm can come out. If you cut too much of this off in here, then you have to cut off some here. The leg will be too thin. See, like we're going to have to cut some of this leg off right here on this side. So that's why you don't cut off. See? You don't. So that leaves you areas. And then if you need to cut some more off here, but see how much you have to cut off over here. See? That way you won't run into issues here. Okay, so we've now established that. Now this is going to have to come over a little bit too. We're going to remove some more of that. Okay, now what are we going to do with the other arm? Okay, let's just go ahead and come down here. And come up like that. In other words, well, let's just come down here and then come up here like this. Okay? Because we really don't have enough room to come all the way down here. Okay? He can be carrying something. So let's go ahead and see. We're going to have to cut off some of this leg back this way. So we want to be sure that, see, we'll have to remove some of this leg in here to give this arm plenty of room. The hand and everything like that. So some of that has to be brought off right down there, okay? Now this is going to come all the way back in here. Come down here like that. But we got to make room for this arm. See, I'm having to take some off here. So if you took too much off here, then I wouldn't have anything. The leg would be too it would be too thin. So you only want to go a little less than halfway. And then once you get your arm kind of established, Okay, see that? Now, let's work it all together now. Let's see. We'll take some off in here on the... We're going to put a hat on him, so... Maybe a little beard. But... Alright, now let's look at our figure. So, I want to take just a little bit more off here to make for that arm. And give that in here a little bit more space. And take a little bit more here. All right. Okay. Now let's come over here and take a little bit more off this leg, in other words, okay? And since we've got our hand kind of gone, got it in shape. Okay. Now let's go ahead and shape this leg a little bit, all right? So we can get it kind of in range here. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I want to shape that. Shape that little boot we got right here. And come up a little bit underneath here. See, up underneath here, we have to get that out just a little bit. That needs to come forth. Take a little bit of that out of there. We can get this leg straight. Go. Well, let's kind of do this. And all we're doing is we're just sort of shaping that leg a little bit right here, as we do, which means that some of this is from the back will have to come off. We can kind of shape it. There we go, just like that. Take a little bit more of this arm off. All right, now let's look at our let's look at that on the floor. Let's look at our carving. See how as we begin to shape that leg a little bit, it's beginning to be more, give us a little bit more look. We'll just cut that right there. All right, now we can kind of, since this arm is out, and since we have depth on it, we've come out probably as far as we want to go with that arm, as far as in here too. Now we can kind of bring this leg also back in and begin to shape it. Okay, let's do that. So we come from this side and bring that in. Let's just kind of come at an angle here. Let's bring that leg down. Let's look at it. Yeah, that's getting down there pretty good. So let's go ahead and start shaping a little bit. Bringing it. Shaping it from both sides. Okay, now look at our little guy. See as we shape him, we start shaping his legs and all that. You start getting a little bit better. Look of him. And we're still a little bit too high up in here. So let's kind of take a little bit more out here. A little bit more in there. And come to the back of the leg. We just start shaping this person. Come in here. Cut a little bit of that out, and there we go. See? See how we're shaping that now? Come in between the legs a little bit. Now, before we go too far on the legs, we're going to have him wearing a pair of boots. So, I want to get our... And all we're going to do, just come up here and draw a line across here. Okay? And then we're going to cut. We're just going to run our knife across there. And we're going to do a little V-cut around there for our boots. Real simple, real easy.